A special board meeting of the Madison Central School District for Monday, August 4th at 5:30 p.m. Mr. Brooks will record the members present or absent, and we do have a quorum. So the next thing we'll do is we'll stand and pledge our allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 5 is approval of the agenda. We have basically 2 items on the agenda: the executive session for personnel matters, which we will very definitely try to keep to a half hour, and then at 6 o'clock we have the public session to view, and we have folks here to present for us on that. We'll try to get that started right at 6 p.m. So I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as published. So moved by Mrs. Sims. Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, I'm going to go with Mr. Miller on that one. You have better left ear than right ear, Charlie.
Me.
Oh, it was Steve. Okay.
Ryan.
It was Ryan. Oh, my
That
goodness.
ear is bad.
I don't have a very good right ear at all.
That way we expect that.
On there. So we have a motion. We have a second to approve the agenda. All in favor of approve the agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Declare that the motion to approve the agenda has passed. Item number 6 then is we will need a motion and a second to go into our executive session according to South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-2, Section 1, for the purposes of discussion of personnel matters. And I would entertain a motion and a second, and we'll declare our time in at 5:32.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Moore. Is there a second? Second by Mrs. Sims. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of moving into executive session at 5:32 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Declare that we are now in executive session.
I don't know if that's something we can take a look at, I suppose after the city on that, if there's something we can change about that, or...
So there currently are 2 street outlets, Mitch?
Yeah, and the curbs, there's 2 inlets.
One's on the north,
One's on the south, yeah. That, so if anything goes on that road, they'll go into those 2 and then out that bottom culvert.
I thought we'd mitigated all of that with the other construction, but not on the street. huh?
Nothing crosses the property. Ours used to go in there and go across. Nothing on our side crosses unless if there's an overflow that flows off property because of the heavy rain. But from the street there's 2 that still go into that. Yeah, I don't know how much. I haven't really seen since that's been done, but
We'll try to take a look at it, see if there's anything we can do. We'll work with the city any way we can to see if we can alleviate any of that problem. But, I mean, we're not going to add really any more water than what's already there.
okay.
So,
Is there a certain amount of fill that's gonna have to take place in the north side of the property, or north side of the building?
what now?
Is there gonna be some fill added to the,
There'll probably have to be because it's a low spot. So you've got some earth there that's already in the construction, and probably use part of that as fill, build up the pad.
so you won't change the elevation, you just add to the low, you won't cut
Yeah.
down the high? I think that'd be important for him to know.
In this picture, where is our property line?
Our property line is
This? Or
way up there.
Oh,
The red line there at the top of that.
The property is very deep. It's 1,143 feet deep. So,
I should know the answer to this, but I don't.
do what?
I said I should know the answer to this, but I don't. On the variance application, you're asking for the metal siding all the way around, or just?
All the way around the roof too.
Okay.
The other thing too is we'll be going to the city commission at some time here to ask them to not require us to put a sidewalk across the whole front. That'd be about a $20,000 ad if we had to. And there's no sidewalk to the west, and we have perfectly good sidewalk to the south. Can't guarantee we'll get it, but we can
We
ask.
can only ask.
Worst they can do is say no.
Are the doors in the service bay and wash bays wider than the other doors, or is it just mine? They're the same?
They're all the same.
They're all insulated doors.
Are they
All
taller?
insulated doors,
Are those doors taller or they're just all the same?
they're all the same. 12 wide, 14 high. No lazy one for your request.
And I know we talked about it being more on the school grounds, that backing up the bus is a safety issue, but obviously none of these are drive-through, and I assume the committee doesn't see any necessity for at least having one of the service bays or anything like that?
No.
Oh, okay.
The discussion with Kurt primarily centered around the fact that the buses will sometimes be backed into the service bay, other times they'll be driven into the service bays. In these instances.
Biggest discussion was where to put the pit for the service bay, in the service bay, whether they want to back the bus in or whether they want to pull it forward, so
Okay. Okay.
decided to put it at the back.
Other questions of Gary regarding the design
Does
and,
the big coach fit in these, or is that?
Yes.
It does.
yeah,
60-foot wide. Enough depth in there.
Doors or whatever.
The longest bus is 43 feet, so we've got some room both front and back.
and the width, even with the mirrors out, we were under 12 foot wide. And that was the reason why we went with the 14-foot door.
How many buses do we have?
What?
How many buses do we have right now? Sorry.
I don't know, this design fit all our buses, the payloader and a few other items, like a few of the smaller vehicles. I apologize, I don't.
We've got a couple of them we can double stack.
Is
Some of the
yours
buses
stall
can go
number
double.
one, or?
There was a stall which could fit like two, the bus and the side
Okay.
bus, and so there was some doubling up, but
Get everything inside for a change.
yeah.
And then the rest of the stalls are just gonna be gravel, they're not gonna be concreted or anything. And the current plan does not call for that to be heated, nor right now be insulated, but there will be electric in there that will enable us to continue to plug the buses in. And, you know, there will be some natural thawing that will occur when those buses come back in off their routes, just with the warmth that's in there. And the added warmth, Gary gave us a statistic of what just even a sheltered area does for an increase in external temperatures. I mean, it isn't gonna be that everything's gonna be in that nice heated area like some bus garages, but we're trying to make it such that it fits into what our capital outlay budget will allow us to spend.
Something that can only be added in the future is going to be insulation and that in there, so you could heat it, and also put more concrete floor in there.
Gary, you want to talk for just a minute about the heating of those, of the bays in the office area, what we're doing there?
Yeah, what we're probably going to do is, we've decided to, the best way to do that is going to be underfloor hot water heat. We'll have a small boiler in the mechanical room, and we're going to piping underneath the floor, keep the floor warm. People will be on the floor working underneath buses and that kind of stuff, and the heat will rise, so it'll be a little better system than trying to do forced air and that kind of thing. We will have carbon monoxide detectors and some exhaust fans in the rest of the bus bays, just so if somebody leaves their bus run too long and carbon monoxide goes up, the fans will kick on and suck it out. So.
Stairs went up to that mezzanine area above. And that's just basically an entire wide open storage, inside storage area for our transportation folks. Tires, wheels, you name it, it can go up there. Talking about actually having a removable railing so we could use the skid steer if we needed to get items up there, et cetera. And we've talked, Gary, about what the weight load would be capable of and things. It certainly meets our needs.
What's the sidewall heights in this building?
Probably be 18 feet.
Want that out the lake for your next now, Sean? You can do a double.
Do that.
We'll take the discount and you can pay the full. Other questions of Gary?
I do have one. On this picture, that's the section line. See that right there? So I thought that our property line would end right there, but you're saying our property line goes another probably 30 feet.
Yeah, if you take a look at it, you're off the page, actually.
Okay.
Because you can see on the left side there, you're 1,143 feet back, or 1,473 on this side. So if you take your 1,136 on this side and put it here, you're about out to here. That came right off the county map, so.
All right. Well, the county map has to be right.
I won't tell you, the county map also shows you guys don't have the field next door to.
Yeah. Maybe because I'm pretty sure we don't. Even though the map might say we do. So, yeah, that's interesting. Okay.
Other questions or comments of Gary? So, Mr. Brooks, what's the next thing we need to do then as a part of this?
Last night I reviewed through kind of our budget numbers and then show where we're funding from in that. I don't have a formal sheet that I'm under audit right this week, just for our annual audit. But our unaudited end of the year 14 balance, which we just completed, is 1.26 million. We have budgeted revenues that we just passed of 1.9. And what we spent is 1.9, and then a bus garage factoring around 800,000. That's with all costs entailed. That would leave the end of this year an estimated amount of 470,000. When we were looking at this earlier with our committee and stuff, we wanted to make sure we were somewhere between 400,000 to 500,000, and that we going forward not getting too low. So it looks like everything's coming in very well on the finance side for this to work out.
Questions from the financial side? Now, then the next step is we will take formal action to move forward in a week. Is that what we're looking at, or?
I believe we'll get maybe some numbers on, we kind of a set dollar amount as the building itself. We confirm whether it's pole shed structure or metal, or we would have that by then.
I got some preliminary numbers on both the pole building and the pre-engineered building. The pole building was about 140,000, and the pre-engineered building with foundations and everything was 200,000. So I think for the $60,000, I think we're better off to go with the pre-engineered building.
Okay.
And I think that still gives us, almost $500,000 to finish off the rest of it. And I think we can do it for that money.
Okay.
We will be in the process this next week of running some budget figures.
Okay.
So
So, go ahead.
Have you run figures on, let's say hypothetically that the variance is denied, and you have to use material that meets the zoning ordinance?
we're looking at probably about a 10% increase in cost for doing a shadow type panel without the exposed fasteners.
So would that blow our budget out?
I guess I don't know how much that actually is, but 10% off.
It's only about a $20,000 ad, so we'll just have to take a look at it, see. It's not that drastic that I think we can't work with it.
What we probably bring to the next meeting is the final drawing, the product with a budget to pass. When we pass the budget, then we can take that out to bid. And as long as the bids come in within budget, we can accept them. If they came in over budget, we need to come back to the board or change our product to fit within budget on that.
So in a week when we meet, we may well be able to accept that budget and then begin to move forward. If not, then we'd either need a special meeting or we'd have to wait until our September meeting.
If we pass the budget, then we have a little more flexibility in if variance passes or doesn't pass, and working within the set, instead of just approving the return bid amount, then we'd be ways out before we got a return bid. Does that seem like an okay process for?
That's for me, I don't know what the rest of the folks feel.
Yep.
Other questions from the board or the public? Got all this down now, John, right? All right, I'll be listening.
So, if I might ask a question, Gary, if the variance were to be denied, and you said approximately 10% uptick,
Yeah.
what would that building look like?
Very similar, the only thing is you wouldn't see the fasteners on the outside of the metal. What we're proposing to do is very similar to what they've got most buildings out at the industrial park. Okay, if you're 15 feet away, you really don't notice fasteners, because they're all colored the same as the building. To go with a shadow type panel that does not show the fasteners, it would be similar to the garage that's over the old Washington Elementary School.
Oh,
That one is acceptable to the city.
okay, all right. But is the life of the building increased as a result of that?
No, not necessarily,
None?
no. It's just a different way of
It's a-
fastening the panels
You
in.
might say cosmetic look.
Yeah.
Other questions? Anything else we need to do, Mr. Brooks, as a part of our public hearing?
I think mostly that if they had questions and concerns or they want that information, it's a good time, it's available for everybody to do that.
They've worked very rapidly for us. We really appreciate it. We get done also at a good time, and I think we're able to move forward where this could become finally a reality for us. I guess the only other thing is, the plan is right now, obviously, the existing bus garage would stay in place until such a time that this is totally in place, and then probably next year is when the old garage would be would have its demolition. All right, well, thank you everyone very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Gary?
Appreciate it. We'll be seeing you again, I'm sure.
And then particularly for the media, we're just going to come out of our recess unless you have questions, and return to executive session, but don't plan to take any actions as a part of the executive session. We'll just go to adjournment from there. So thank you very much.